Hey everybody! This week we're going to listen to a story from the Old Testament. We're going to listen to the story of Samuel when he first heard God's voice in his life. And then we'll make a craft to help us remember that we need to listen to God and the people around us. So go ahead and listen to the story. Hannah had prayed and asked God for a baby for many years, and when Samuel was born, she promised to give Samuel to God when he was big enough. They took him to Eli, the priest at the temple. Samuel can be your helper, they said. Samuel was a good boy, and he liked helping Eli. One night, Samuel was in his bed. God called Samuel's name. Samuel sat up and looked around. Eli must be calling me, he said. Eli, I am here, said Samuel. Did you want me? No, Samuel, I didn't call you. Samuel didn't know it was God calling his name. He lay down in his bed, and God called his name again. Samuel! He ran straight to Eli. I am here. I heard you calling me. Eli was tired and grumpy. No, I did not call you. Get back into bed. Go to sleep. Stop waking me up. He heard his name again. Then Eli knew God was calling Samuel. Next time, Eli said, say, I am listening, and God will speak to you. So Samuel listened. God called his name and talked to him. Samuel listened for God's words and loved God all his life. So Samuel didn't know it was God that was calling out to him, and he went to who he thought it was. He went to his boss, the man he worked with, Eli, and kept asking him what he wanted. Why was he calling his name? And Eli was confused too, because he's like, I'm not calling your name. I don't want your attention. I'm trying to sleep. So that just confused Samuel even more. And sometimes today, we might feel that way when we are being pulled in a direction by the Holy Spirit, by God, to do something in our lives that maybe we wouldn't have thought of. Sometimes we have a feeling that we should do something, but we don't really know why. Sometimes we are afraid to try something new, but that new thing will be really good for us in the long run. And we feel this pull, this tug to go do it and go do that new thing. It might be helping other people. It might be something that will make yourself better. But a lot of times that is God and the Holy Spirit tugging us to help those people or to make ourselves better or show ourselves as a disciple of Jesus to someone else in our lives, even though that scares us. Because not everything in life is going to be easy. And God knows that. But He's also going to listen to us and help us and push us in the direction we need to go when we're scared. And we need to be listening for that and be willing to follow God when He pushes us in a new direction that might be scary. And we also need to make sure we are listening to our parents and our teachers and other adults around us who are trying to show us how to live our lives in Jesus and how to be a disciple of Jesus in our lives and how to show other people that. So we need to make sure we always have our listening ears on for God and for people trying to show us how to follow God and how to be a disciple. So let's go ahead and listen to our craft. For this craft, you're going to need some paper, preferably cardstock or really thick construction paper, some scissors, some tape, and some crayons or some markers. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one of your pieces of paper and you're going to cut it into 2 strips. Just like this. This is what's going to wrap around your head. So there's 1 strip, and then I'm going to use my piece of paper to kind of measure how big I cut that, and then cut another strip the same size. And then I'm going to tape my 2 strips together because this is what's going to wrap around my head. So there we go. So I'm going to decorate my headband before I put it together. So I'm going to write Samuel heard God. Here are my listening ears. And then you can decorate your headband however you want. I'm just going to put a couple of hearts on mine because that's simple. But you can decorate it however you want. Take your time and really make it pretty. So here's the front of my headband. You can go ahead and decorate the back of it too, or the other half of your paper strips taped together. So go ahead and do that if you would like. Then we're going to draw our ears. I'm going to make animal ears. So I'm going to make 2 really big ears because the whole point of this is about listening to God and making sure we always have open ears. And that is why my ears are going to be very big. And I'm going to put in a pink middle to my ears, just like a lot of dogs and cats, if you look at them, have a nice... It's not necessarily pink, but it's a different color than the rest of their ear on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in. I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger so they match a little bit better. And then I'm going to color the rest of my ear in gray. Mine kind of look like mouse ears. And I kind of like that idea. Have you ever heard as quiet as a mouse? That means mice are really quiet, and so they have an easy time listening. And they can run away really fast if they hear something, can't they? We don't want to run away, but we want to make sure sometimes that we're quiet enough to listen to God. We also need to make sure we're quiet enough to listen to other people in our lives, like our parents and our teachers, and anybody else who is trying to help us learn, either in school or at church or at home, so we can be a little more like Jesus. So here are my ears. And then I'm going to take my headband and I'm going to wrap it around my head to measure. Mine pretty much goes all the way around my head since I'm a grown-up. Yours may not. Your head may be a little smaller than your paper. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tape my headband. If I had any extra, I would cut it off. But I don't have any extra because these 2 pieces of paper pretty much was how much my whole head needed to wrap around. Your next step is to cut out your ears. So there are my 2 ears, and then I'm going to take my headband and I'm going to tape my big ears onto the inside of my headband. And that way, I know that you won't see the tape or anything on the outside of my headband. You might need a tape on both sides of it, depending on how big you made your ears, just to make sure they stand up. I have a mess up on my other side of my paper, if you can see that. I tried to draw people ears, and then I changed my mind, because they did not turn out very well, but I used the other side of my paper for my mouse ears to save paper. So there we go. There my ears are attached to my headband. So this is how my headband turned out. You notice I have really big ears to show how I can listen to God and to also listen to my parents and my teachers and other adults around me that will help me learn about God and learn how I can be a better follower of Jesus in my life. So I hope you had fun making your craft this week. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you in Sunday school. Bye!